so lonely. That's okay, shake my head. And I'm not sad, and just maybe I'm to blame for all I've heard.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank number 26. On today's episode, I welcome my friend Steve Agee over to my apartment, and we talked about mental health for a while. I had a really bad depression for a while, a few years ago. I wouldn't say really bad. Let's just say depression. My story's not that unique. But Steve has also had some mental health problems over the years, and he came over and was nice enough to talk about it with me. So everybody, please sit back and relax and enjoy Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank number 26, Going Crazy with Mr. Steve Agee.
I like it, I'm not gonna crack. I miss you, I'm not gonna crack. I love you, I'm not gonna crack. I killed you, I'm not gonna crack. I like it, I'm not.
Hello, I'm with my guest, Mr. Steve Agee.
That's me.
Hi, Steve.
How's
How
it
are
going,
you?
man?
I started recording intros later, so I don't have to fucking deal too much.
Oh, that's good.
We're going to discuss mental illness and depression.
Mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Because you're, we already started talking about it, but you're one of the crazies, right?
I'm mental.
Yeah.
I think most of the people in the world are.
I think so,
of them
too.
Just don't realize it.
I asked my doctor once this. I was like, so wait, what did people do like 200 years ago before this was like diagnosed and stuff?
Yeah.
And he was like, they suffered.
They went
Yeah,
insane.
they weren't.
They were outcast.
They did not have it. They just.
They were outcast from their societies and like.
Yeah.
just-
He's like, have you heard of suicide? That's not a new thing.
Yeah. But also 200 years ago, people weren't living to be real old.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It was like they only
Catch it.
suffered for a little while.
They get depression. Like, well, luckily I've got horrible, inoperable gout.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the plague will get me before my fucking schizophrenia.
When did you start going nutty?
I remember specifically a specific instance when I was in high school. I saw two of my friends wrestling in a hallway,
Yeah.
and I was probably 17, and one of my buddies wrestled the other one to the ground, but it was like they both fell to the ground, and one of them cracked his skull open on the cinder block.
Ew.
Like wide, gaping blood everywhere. And that was like the first time that I was like, as a young person, was like, oh my God, I can die at any time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember it specifically. I can still see it perfectly. I was like, oh my God, I can die at any fucking time. And
How old were you?
I was 17.
Okay.
And I had my first panic attack about 2 hours later.
What happened?
I was eating dinner, and
You were
all of a sudden
thinking about it?
No, I hadn't even thought about it.
Okay.
But I was just eating dinner, and all of a sudden I started sweating profusely, and my heart started like racing.
Really?
And I couldn't swallow my food, and I was just like, "What the fuck is happening?" And I had to get up and run out of the fucking building, and and that started a whole string of years and years of panic attacks.
Really?
Yeah.
What did your parents say when you ran out?
I was at boarding school at this point. I wasn't even at home.
You were like a bad kid?
Yeah. I got sent to military school.
Really?
Yeah. If you've
Full on military?
if you've seen TAPS, that's the school I went to.
Which one's TAPS?
It's like
Is that where the kids take over?
they take over the military school.
And was Wesley Crusher on that?
I don't know. It was Sean Penn, Timothy Hutton.
Oh, no, it wasn't
Tom
him.
Cruise.
It was a bunch of young guys.
Yeah. And
Barely remember that from when I was like 6.
I got sent there, when I was like 16.
To like straighten up or fly right?
Uh-huh.
Really? You were that bad a kid?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was a mess. I was drinking heavily in high school. Like I would get up in the morning, and that's also part of my, my mental problems is I was a really shy kid, hated school.
And a boozer?
Until two seniors got me drunk once. And then I was like, oh, my God. I'm not afraid of anyone or anything when I'm drunk. So I just started drinking all the time.
At what, like 15 or 16?
Yeah, at about 15.
Wow, that's so young.
I would go to school in the morning and get a big gulp at 7-Eleven, dump half of it out, and then fill the rest with rum, and then sit in class all morning getting fucked up
In class?
every day. Too.
What the F? Where'd you go to high school?
In Riverside, California.
Okay.
Like an hour away from
I knew
here.
you grew up out here.
Yeah.
You were just a fucked up LA kid?
Yeah. And then when I went to military school, you know, because I got kicked out of a couple schools because of all this, my drinking and shit, that's when I got into drugs. Because, like, when you're in a military school, you have daily inspections, so you can't hide bottles anywhere.
Oh.
But you can hide drugs everywhere.
Wow, because you don't need that much space.
No. Like light sockets, anywhere.
Yeah.
And so, like, drugs were rampant when I went to
Just because of the
military school.
functional
Yeah.
nature of them.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Just like there's not enough space. They will find it. What kind of drugs got into military school?
Oh, like speed, acid. You know, your run-of-the-mill degenerate young people drugs.
Yeah. We talked about this once. You've done everything, right? Pretty much, almost.
I've done everything except, like, crack and heroin.
Yeah.
And I almost did heroin once just because I grew up thinking, you know, I should at least – I don't want to be a hypocrite, so I should at least try everything once.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Luckily, I don't have an addictive personality. Like, I quit smoking after, like, years and, like, never had an urge after
Really?
I quit. Yeah.
Whoa.
And
It took me years to fully quit.
so I was always like, I don't even want to do drugs, but I want to at least try everything once.
Yeah. I at least want to know what the trip is like.
Yeah. And so it was when I was living in L.A., I was with a friend, and his brother came over to the house. His little brother was like a skater and a surfer, and he's like, you guys, I got heroin. He's like, let's try heroin. And I was like, holy shit, okay.
Sounds, yeah,
We'll
definitely.
smoke it. I was like, okay, we'll try this. And so...
Is smoking it like the easier way to do it on your body?
Well, there's no way I'm going to...
You're not shooting up. That's way too
There's
harsh.
no way.
Even a brand new needle or
I
anything.
draw
you're like,
the
"There's not-
line."
What am I doing? Finding my own vein? No,
Yeah,
that's
I
junky.
draw
behavior.
the line. And so my friend took a hit of heroin,
Yeah.
huge hit, passed it to his brother. As his brother was taking a hit, my friend started puking violently.
This.
And then his brother handed me the pipe, and then he started puking violently, and I was immediately like, sorry, guys.
No way.
I am checking out right now because
That looks horrible.
throwing up, honest to God, is my biggest phobia in the world. I
Yeah.
haven't puked in 24 years.
Really?
Yeah.
My friend Matt Eggers like that, and then he puked on mushrooms.
Yeah, I've almost puked on mushrooms.
Do you have like no gag reflex or something?
No. No, I do. I'll gag
You
like
can.
crazy, but like I have a really strong stomach. But the crazy thing is, even though I haven't puked since I was 18, I think about it constantly because I'm so... And also in my head, part of the mental illness thing is like, in my head, I'm so psychotic. I'm like, well, the law of averages say that I'm going to puke again sometime in my life. After 24 years, it's probably going to be sooner than later.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly ready to be puking. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it all the time.
But you stopped drinking.
Yeah, I haven't drunk in a long time.
How long?
Well, a year.
Okay, but you
But, like,
drank,
I stopped getting drunk, like, you know, maybe 10 years ago.
but in that 24 years, you've gotten drunk and not
yeah,
puked?
yeah. I've probably only puked 4 times in my life.
What?
3 of them
I
from
would say you're missing out, but it's really not great. You've
3 of
done
them
it.
from being drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the best. The first time I got drunk and barfed, and then like was like, oh, I'm fine now.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, let's go back to the party, I guess.
Yeah.
I was
No,
like, that's so freeing.
When you're drunk, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's just a reset button.
Yeah,
You don't buy all your sobriety, but you buy like half of it.
The last time I threw up, I was 18, and I'd gone to a party, and I beer bonged a 12-pack of beer and a bottle of
I've
champagne.
never done stuff like that.
Bottle of champagne, 12-pack of beer, half a pint of rum. I blacked out. I don't even remember that.
Really?
But about 4
That is
o'clock,
the sign of alcoholism.
4 o'clock in the
blackout.
morning, I woke up on my stomach, puking in my bed, just black puke. Got up. I was still drunk. Went into my parents' bedroom.
Why?
Because I was drunk still.
Yeah.
I just went into their bedroom to announce, I'm fucked up. And I puked all over my bed. My dad was like, you fucking clean it up. Get the fuck out of our room. I felt so shitty for like a week that I was like, I'm not going to get drunk again.
They're like, one, you woke us up. Like,
Yeah.
That's alone is not...
They didn't give a shit.
Those are the reasons why it's like, no, can you see why I don't want kids? Just for reasons like that?
Yeah. I don't want... Oh, yeah.
No parent can tell me that's a good moment.
No. Yeah, it was worth it, though. We don't regret that. I would regret that shit. I don't want kids.
Yeah. I'd be like, no, I'll never forgive you for that. It's cool. I moved on. Well, no, for that, I'll never forgive you.
And they're like,
Maybe clean up your bar.
He's fucking 18. We almost got him out of the house without doing this kind of shit.
So when did you start feeling... So that was an anxiety attack at 17.
Yeah, I've had anxiety attacks for like... Yeah, since I was a teenager. But I never had them often enough to do anything about them.
You were just like, oh, it's this thing that happens once in a long while?
Like maybe once a year I would have a panic attack.
Okay. I can
And
see
they
you ignoring
don't-
that. Like,
have you
that's
ever
weird,
had
but...
a panic attack?
I don't think a full-on one. I've gotten to the point where I'm sort of like, have trouble breathing.
Nervous, like
Yeah,
anxiety.
I can't. Usually lately when I think about having a child, like when my friends like has a kid, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's... How do you...
Yes.
It's like, but it doesn't get to the point where I'm sure it gets with you.
It would only happen once a year, and they usually only last like 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, and it's usually environmental. Like it's usually when I'm in a certain, like, I'm claustrophobic. I don't like crowds.
Like at a party where you know like 3 people.
Yeah, or like in a really crowded restaurant, I feel like people are staring, and so I'll get that. And it usually goes away as soon as I leave whatever
The place.
environment I'm in.
Oh, wow.
It's like that whole fight or flight.
Yeah.
You have a panic attack, and it's your body saying, "Get the fuck out
We
of here."
don't like this place. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And so when you get out, you're like, oh, we're fine now.
Yeah.
Wow. How
And-
quick afterwards?
What's that?
How quick after you would leave a place like that?
Minutes.
Okay. You're totally good.
Yeah. And that was, all through college. And the crazy thing was, I told my dad about it when I was in college after I'd been having him, for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And he was just like, even though my dad's a doctor,
Yeah.
I think he has issues with mental illness. Like, you don't have, it's nothing. It's just you're
People
nervous.
don't...
And he would give me, like my dad's old school. Like, he's 82 years old. He's from Texas. He's just like, we don't talk about our problems. He's like,
Yeah.
you're fine. I'm going to give you a prescription for Valium. I was like,
like that's not...
that's not doing anything. Like, by the time I take Valium, I'm usually over the panic attack anyway. But thanks for the prescription for Valium. I love Valium.
Did he just not get any training in mental illness at all?
I
like
don't know what. I mean,
50 years ago when
he's
he
an
took- when he was in medical school?
anesthesiologist. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I know they've come a long way just in the last, 25 or 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, a long way, but I don't think they really touched on that back in,
Yeah.
whatever the 50s or...
Probably not. So he was like, yeah, whatever, fuck up.
He's like, yep, just deal with it. And then, I came to L.A. and started, working in television, like in reality TV, and I just, like, hated my life and, like,
Yeah.
was just like, I'm never going to amount to anything just sitting at this fucking desk watching all these assholes on The Real World, you know what I mean?
What'd you do for Real World?
I started off as a logger, watching all the raw video from the road. I was on Real World Seattle and Real World Hawaii,
Yeah.
and it was just soul crushing. And then I went on to the Osbournes, Temptation Island, Joe Millionaire.
Doing logging for all them?
Then on to transcribing, and then
Did logging? What's his name? A UCB comic. It's Neil's friend. They used to have like a tandem, the two of them together. Neil Campbell and like
oh shit,
black-haired kid with a big nose.
most people I
God,
know
I'm terrible at names.
most
I know
people
him too.
have done logging. It's an easy job to get.
Yeah.
And it was when I was working on Joe Millionaire that I started having panic attacks daily. Not yearly.
Daily.
Daily.
And so it's just a straight jump up from yearly to like, boom, it's happening all the time.
Yeah. And that was crazy because it wasn't even, it never ramped up. Maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, while I was doing this job and I was working graveyard shift for a while, and I was just like, I had overwhelming feelings of guilt because we're making this quote unquote TV show. We're just totally manipulated, reality shows are just the worst.
Yeah.
I just couldn't live with myself. And then just out of the blue, like multiple times a day, just out in public, I would just freak out and
away from the environment.
Yeah. And start like feeling like I was having a heart attack anywhere in public.
Like, what would you have to, like sit down?
I would have to go get in my car. I would just have to be away from people. And that all came to an end when it was one afternoon. I was just sitting at work, started having a panic attack, and like a bad one. And then I like got up and started heading for the door, and like my boss was like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Oh, I got to get to the bank like really quick." And he's like, "All right, okay." And I left, and I never went back. I went right to my house, where I didn't leave for about two or 3 months. Like I became agoraphobic.
Yeah.
Because of this.
I should really close this door.
And
Let's keep going.
I became agoraphobic because of this, and I didn't leave my house for 2 months. Very rarely, every now and then I'd go out to get food, but I could only do it at like 2 or 3 in the morning when I knew there wouldn't be like crowds of people anywhere.
Yeah.
I'd like go to 7-Eleven.
And just try to like get in, get out.
Get water and food, soup, whatever.
Like full on agoraphobia?
Full on, like couldn't deal.
With anything or anybody?
Anybody. And I had roommates, and those were about the only people I could talk to. And even then, I was just like uncomfortable in my own skin. I thought I was going completely insane, and I was just like,
yeah. A lot of the problem is too. It's like I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
Like later you come to terms with it, but in the beginning you're like, I don't even know what are the boundaries of this thing. Like how bad does it get? Or
yeah, and
what
you
is
feel
it?
like nobody understands what this is. You feel like I've never, like, you can't explain it, so therefore you're like, I've never heard of this before. That kind of changed when I came to L.A. Like, before I came to L.A., and I didn't know anything about the entertainment business, didn't know anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody who had panic attacks. So I was just like, I'm fucked up. And then, you get to L.A. and you're like, oh, shit. Everybody has panic attacks here.
Out here, you're like, oh, everyone's dealt with all this crap.
Yeah, and so I just couldn't leave. I stopped performing. I was doing a lot of improv and stuff, and like some stand up, and like I just couldn't get on a stage. I was like, I was just fucked, and I was like, holy fuck, I'm gonna die in this house. Like,
Wow.
And then one night,
Did you play video games all day long?
I don't even remember what I did. I think I just fucked around on the internet, what I
Yeah.
mean? And then one night I went to go get food at 7-Eleven. It was like 3 in the morning, maybe like 2. I go to 7-Eleven and I pull up and I see that there's one other person in the store,
Yeah.
like walking around shopping, and like I literally sat in my car and waited for that person to leave.
That was too much for you?
Yeah.
One person, not even...
And he was in there for 20 minutes. I just sat in my car, and then I felt so shitty. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I just broke down, started fucking bawling, and I was like...
in the car outside 7-Eleven?
Yeah, I was like, something is fucking wrong with me. I called Sarah Silverman,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I think I'm going to fucking die. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. And she was just like, dude, you're just having a panic attack. You need to go see a doctor.
Like she'd dealt with it before.
Yeah, she went through the same thing when she was at Saturday Night Live in like the early 90s, and she was like, you need to be on medication.
Yeah.
She's like, trust me. And so I went to her shrink, and this woman, we talked for a while, and then she's like, I'm going to prescribe you antidepressants. And I was so bummed out just hearing that, because I was like...
Why? Because you felt like, oh, fuck, I'm one of those?
Yeah. I just felt like,
that's how I felt too.
Oh, I'm a fucking... I can't handle shit on my own. I need pills.
Yeah.
And I felt so bummed out, and like, just for years, I was like, I don't need this. I can deal with shit. And I just felt like I was giving up by going on antidepressants, but I tried it, and literally within like 2 weeks, I was out of the house.
Totally fine.
Back on stage, like calling up all my friends who I had.
It's so amazing when you find the right pills. What'd they put you on?
Lexapro. And
it's so amazing when they put you on the right thing.
It was fucking crazy. I was like, holy shit. Like, and I don't know if it was a placebo effect, you know, or like real, but I think it was real. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's real because, you know, I've been on it now for like 7 years or something like that. And, you know, I've tried going off it a few
And how
times.
does that feel? And it doesn't...
Terrifying.
Bad.
Like,
you start freaking out again?
Like there would be days when, you know, when I'm not working and didn't have a lot of money that I just kind of start taking my pills every other day. Like I got to stretch these out. And then it got to a point where I then forget, like, did I take one already this morning?
Yeah.
And, well, I'm not going to take one then because if I
want
did, I don't want to take a double dose. So then I'd get all fucked up, like not knowing if I was on taking my pills. So then I would just go for a long time without taking them and then start getting these things that a lot of people call brain zaps. I don't know if you've ever had that.
No,
like,
what is that?
If you read, I did a lot of research from like withdrawals from antidepressants, people going off them. Like a lot of forums, you'll hear people talk about like, I started getting brain zaps, which is like,
what is that? That's so crazy. What is it?
It's so fucked up,
sounds
dude.
Horrible.
It is fucking terrifying. It's I can only describe it as like, you know, when you're really tired, and you go to bed, and as you're just falling asleep, you're kind of in that half asleep, half awake, and then all of a sudden your whole body just jolts, like wide awake, like you get that feeling like you're falling, and you just kind of sit up, you know?
Yeah.
Like, whoa. It's like that, only you're already wide awake.
And then you get it?
Yeah, like just...
Like,
I
like
can't
it's
even,
shorting?
Yeah, like a short circuit, like an electrocution, like, but in your head, like, and it's just like a hundredth of a second, but it's like, it's really disconcerting. It's really
I love those things when you're sleeping and you're still awake, but you're dreaming of somebody tossing you a basketball.
Yeah,
and you jump to catch it, and you're like, "What the? I'm
it's
fully
that
awake."
feeling. It's that feeling, but
what?
Without being asleep.
And you just get them randomly?
Yeah.
Oh, like when you're driving?
I've never had them while I'm driving.
Oh.
God. But yeah, it was.
People have this, and I had this a little bit. People have. At least I dealt with some girlfriend with depression a long time ago, so I sort of got it. It was like, no, your brain's just sprained or broken, or just like anything.
Yeah,
I get it. Take your pills. It's fine. You're better when you take your pills.
Yeah. Like I honestly, I do think that antidepressants are overprescribed. Like I think there are a lot of people who are on them that don't need to be on them.
My friend Pete Carboni did. He said he's been on, I think, Wellbutrin since he was 15 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I probably can be off him by now, but he goes, I'm not chancing it. I'm just going to keep on it until I have problem. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
My risk going into a.
Yeah, if you're functioning and having no problems,
Yeah.
I'm like, why not?
All right.
You know.
I tried Lexapro for a little bit. It wasn't for me.
Really, what did it do?
I got this like super happy state for a day.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like ecstasy, but in total control. Like, was this what I was like before? No, it's not just because I miss this feeling. This is amazing. I just feel great about everything.
Weird.
Yeah, and then the next day, such a horrible depression that I could barely breathe.
Really? Like my shrink gave me the prescription for 10 milligrams
Yeah.
of Lexapro. And I took it. I remember taking it. It was like a Friday night. Took it before I went to bed.
Yeah.
I slept for probably 10 or 11 hours. Woke up and felt so tired. Like I woke up feeling like I hadn't slept a wink.
Yeah.
Like, and literally it was a struggle
Yeah.
to sit up and walk to the bathroom. Like I felt like I might fall over. I was so tired. And like I just kind of went to the bathroom, stumbled back to bed, and like just slept for like another day.
Yeah.
I felt the same way the next day.
I feel like I had that too. It just like resets you.
I had to call my shrink on the following Monday, and I was like, something's wrong. I'm tired. I can't do anything. And I was like, if this is what this pill does to me, I don't want to be on this because I can't function. I'm so tired. She's like, give it like another day or two.
Okay.
And sure enough, on like the fifth or sixth day, woke up, felt great.
Yeah.
Felt amazing. But it wasn't like a manic, like, let's go. It was like, I just felt normal. I just felt...
Back to where you were. Just sort of like, okay, cool.
I never... And there was a thing, like...
And were you happy to be out of that feeling? Or did that at least give you a joy of like,
yeah, it was
right,
more
sweet.
like a relief,
Yeah.
a sense of relief. And I had always, like, when I first came to LA, a lot of my friends were on antidepressants, and, like, I'd heard just such horror stories of, like, a friend of mine was like, oh, they put me on Wellbutrin, and then, like, I couldn't even masturbate. I couldn't have sex. I had no sex drive.
I couldn't come.
I was like, well, that sounds horrible. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing that scared me, when my shrink was like, well, we're going to prescribe this. I was like, oh, fuck. Now I'm not even going to be able to masturbate. And for probably the first 2 months.
That's bad when you can't even masturbate.
Yeah. For the first 2 months,
that's
it's
bad.
not that I couldn't. It's that it would take a long time.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of wore off, and now everything's fine.
Yeah, a lot of times the symptoms just have to catch up.
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
That's usually what everybody I talk to, that's their fear. It's like, well, I don't want to be like a zombie. Or like, that's the stigma. You're just going to walk around kind of depressed and just sort of dead.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody, it's like, yeah, well, if that happens, just go off those. And go back to where you are right now.
Yeah.
Which is every once in a while having panic attacks or being depressed. But
Yeah.
like, fine, see what they're like. You can always get off it. You don't have to be on it forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to try so many different ones. Yeah, Wellbutrin, I could not come.
I've heard horror stories about Wellbutrin.
And I didn't know what it was until that happened like a few times. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And the girlfriend was like, what? Is it the pills you're taking? I'm like, no. Why would it? And then I looked. I was like, oh, yeah, it definitely
You go
is. That's
online
definitely
and you're
is.
like, oh, shit, it is that.
Yeah, that's clearly what.
Yeah, when my shrink was like, well, I'm going to start you with Lexapro, and it's a fairly new antidepressant. She's like, and it's like one of the most mild ones, and
So they're still like getting results from people, like how
yeah,
what's it doing to you?
but like it's one of the most positively reviewed. I don't know, you
Yeah.
say, but like least side effects, and I don't mind it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, once that goes away too, it's like, all right, fine, cool, I can fuck again.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like now I could probably go off them if I weaned off them, and but just like your friend, I'm just like, well, if I feel good, why should I?
Yeah, why should I bother?
What's the point?
He was like, I don't want to be the point. His brother tried to commit suicide by jumping in front of a train.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he survived.
Fuck.
And then reaffirmed life and got cancer. While he was in the hospital recovering from. That's just like,
Did the
there's
cancer
clearly no
kill him?
God. Yeah, cancer killed him.
Oh,
Yeah, he didn't get away from that.
see, this is a whole nother aspect where I'm like, I'm over the depression, but I'm like such a hypochondriac, and
He was like, wait, so I had to die slowly? Because people were like, oh, well, God saved you. And he's like, so that I could slowly and horribly die instead of just that painful, quick smash train to the face?
that is fucking
Yeah.
crazy, man.
But he goes, I never want to be at that point where I'm going to look at the train tracks and be like, oh, maybe I should just go for this right now.
Yeah,
So he goes, I'm just staying on this shit. What's the difference?
that scares the shit out of me. Cancer scares me more than
Cancer does?
growing up.
Why? Wasting away?
Yeah, like,
Having this shit grow inside you?
yeah, I think that's even more scary to me than actually dying, is just this foreign poison like growing inside of you. Like,
Are you're a hypochondriac too?
oh, I'm a huge hypochondriac. Like,
Really?
we were talking earlier about my back being all fucked up. Like, it's been sore, for off and on for a few months now, and like every now and then when it's really bad, I'm like, why has it been hurting so long? It's probably a tumor. Like, there's probably a tumor like right by my spine, and that's why my back hurts. That's the kind of shit, and it's always worse at night. At night, it's always like straight to WebMD and looking at.
Do you do that?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I have a WebMD
That's
app.
sort of like a cliche.
I have it on my
But like
iPhone.
that's so you can go to it immediately and like what could this possibly be?
Yeah.
What does it do? Just narrow down like how many things it could be?
Oh, it doesn't even narrow shit down. Everything, every symptom you could ever have,
Yeah.
headache, whatever, is all points to cancer. Like if you look at
Really?
cancer on WebMD and look at different types, and then look at all the symptoms, it's like back pain, exhaustion. I'm just like, fuck. But, I also write a lot of times, like I hardly ever get headaches.
Yeah.
So when I do, they're like horrible. Like, I will maybe have like a couple headaches a year. Like
Really?
I don't get headaches. And so whenever I do, I'm like convinced it's a tumor. And there's been a lot of times where over like probably the past 15 years.
You sound like oddly healthy in a very unhealthy way.
Yeah, overly cautious. I will write what I call death notes.
Oh, what's
Like if
that
I
about?
can't sleep at night and I
Yeah.
think I've got cancer or something,
Yeah.
I'll write notes on my computer. Like I'll open up a document and I'll write like a letter to my parents.
Yeah.
Saying, thank you, I love you, like really long, and then open up documents, write them to my friends, other family members,
Yeah.
and then I leave them on my computer so that if I do die,
They're-
they come in the
they'll
morning
find it.
and they find this shit. And then, I wake up, what always happens is I wake up the next morning, turn on my computer, and then I'm like horrified by what I've written. I'm like, oh my God, that is so fucking creepy. I've never saved any of them either. I know that I should,
Yeah.
because it would make
You should save 'em.
It would make an awesome book, but
Yeah.
it's so fucking.
And you're like,
morbid.
oh, what was I doing?
Yeah, I'm like, ugh. It makes my skin crawl reading that shit.
I love that idea of like really feeling like you're gonna die. I had that once when I was on ecstasy in Las Vegas, and I just got the idea in my head. It's like, nope, you're gonna die. You
On
know you
ecstasy.
are. You know you are.
It's so
It's
fucked.
because I was drinking too a little bit. And so I was like, I know those aren't supposed to go, but I thought that just dampens the ecstasy.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, not this one. I think I got like my heart raced a little bit, or something happened, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna send texts to myself. Saying I took a lot of ecstasy. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I should tell on my friend who dealt it to me, so that he can be brought to justice.
See, that's that's basically the same reasoning behind my death notes. It's just like I want to explain some shit.
Yeah.
I want to clear shit up, unresolved shit. I'll leave a document saying what I'm feeling right now, so like the doctors will know.
Is this all precautions that makes you not turn into a ghost? Like,
A lot of it,
I have
though-
no message left to
I don't wanna be a
give.
ghost. A lot of it.
There's nothing left unturned.
I don't want to be a ghost. I would actually love to be a ghost. But a lot of it is also, while I'm writing this, it keeps my mind off of the headache and like until I'm so tired that I go to sleep. So it's like just to preoccupy me.
That's a good idea.
It's so fucking creepy though.
Reading it the next day.
The human brain is insane.
I always read my text after I so try hard not to. After I take mushrooms, I try to read them and I'm like, why would I write that?
Yeah. I just turn off my phone. If
That's
I have
so
to do
smart.
that shit. Like,
That usually lasts fine for like 5 hours. And then once you're into like the next stage, you're like, I'm pretty much good. But your brain's still not working
no,
right.
it's really slow and just random.
You get a
thoughts.
thought of person, and you're like, I just want you to know, man, that even though we never talk or anything,
Yeah,
you're a
you'll
really
think
cool
of-
guy. And
Yeah, I've gone through my address book on my phone and been like,
see what memories spark.
man, I wonder. I haven't talked to fucking so and so in like 8 years. And
I
then
should
you
let him
text
know.
them,
You're like, why? We drifted apart. That was natural.
like, oh man, I was in the clear. I didn't have to talk to this person again. Now they're back in my life.
Did you ever like act out with your depression or with your hypochondriac or whatever? Like, did you try to like cut yourself or barf or anything?
Because I'm so afraid of dying that
Yeah.
I've thought about suicide,
Yeah.
I'm
the idea of it?
generally not a depressed person.
Uh-huh.
But I'll get like seasonal depression. Mm-hmm. It's usually worse around the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'll get really depressed.
Really? That's
Just
a real thing where it's because of that?
Seasonal, yeah. It's an absolute real thing.
Okay, but a lot of people mistake the word depression for for the way the word is being depressed is used.
Yeah.
It's not sort of just being blue.
No, it's more like just a desperate, like...
Yeah. It's similar.
bleak.
It's a little bit similar, but it's just, and it's a long-standing thing, and it's not over anything, really.
Yeah, that's the one thing is...
I'm depressed for no reason. Like, what is this? It's not even, I don't care about anything right now.
That's usually the thing is like, when I'm depressed, it's usually, you can't usually trace it to something.
Yeah.
It's usually like, oh, I woke up and I feel really sad. Like, why?
Why? Didn't you just get a job? Yeah.
Like, yeah, I've had days where
That's what surprises me about seasonal depression, where it seems like that's linked to a cause.
Well, that is kind of linked to a cause, and it's usually more of like
Family crap.
family,
Not having one.
and there's like a sense of pressure to be happy and rejoice around Christmas and the holidays and like, be thankful. And it's like those, to me, Christmas especially is just this holiday that's kind of, and Thanksgiving, that's just kind of built and perpetuated by guilt. You know what I mean? Like, like presents, like,
I hate the idea of them, that you have to for this day specifically.
yeah, exactly. Like, if you love someone, give them a present
Yeah.
anytime. And I know that seems like a cop-out, but it's like...
If you think of them and you see something, you're like, oh, you know who'd love that? So-and-so.
Yes. There's nothing worse, though, than, like, being, unemployed around the holidays. And then, you got to do Christmas shopping. You're like, I can't even fucking pay my rent. And now I have to fucking buy presents. And, if you can't, then there's this horrible feeling of like, oh, I'm such an asshole if I go home without shit for people.
Yeah, you feel like a dick.
So much guilt and just pressure to be like, I don't know. It's just always worse for me around the holidays. It's just like,
I hate that feeling of having to fucking get something. I hate it.
It's such pressure, and it's like...
Especially, when you're super poor, and you're like, oh, I got to get my agent. I made $20 this year. What do I have to give him?
Yeah.
I don't give anything to anybody. I don't give stuff to my family. Why am I pretending?
It's so fucked up. Yeah, and it's... that's a legitimate thing. Seasonal depression is like... Because you're just inundated, like, all you see on TV is families together, smiling, like, it's just positivity. You're just inundated with positivity. And you're like, there's nothing real about that shit.
I love the holiday season.
Do you really?
I love it. Because I'm sort of like, I don't have a problem with my parents, my family at all. I just sort of become more independent than the rest of my family. I just don't see them much.
Yeah.
Don't feel the need to. Mm-hmm. So when I see that shit on TV, I'm always like, it's good for them, I guess. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
But the city clears out. So
that's amazing.
I don't feel like I'm missing anything, really. And then it's just, is the amount of people that the city's built for. Like 60%.
The one thing I love about the holidays is that, my family, I grew up an hour away from here. So I don't have to go through the bullshit of
the airport
traveling. Like, that shit... fucking is the worst. And that's another part of the guilt to, like, you have to go see your family at Christmas. It's like, really? I have to fucking
This
travel.
is the worst time. Let's do it in June.
Deal with, and winter when flights are canceled.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a nightmare.
I have to leave LA and go into the show. Yeah, let's do it in May. Let's all get the family together another time.
Yeah.
None of us celebrate this holiday.
Yeah,
or maybe you do.
Yeah, your family.
My family does.
Your family will still be like, "Well, we're really hoping you come home for Christmas this year." And it's like, ugh,
really?
Yeah. For me, it's no big deal because I just get in my car and an hour later I'm at home.
I've somehow freed myself of it. They say that sometimes. I'm like, yeah, can't. That's it.
The best. It's just I can't do it.
Yeah.
I got some shows
stuff
I
going
got
on.
to do.
It's busy season. I don't know.
And that's the other great thing is I can just go out for the day. Like
Yeah,
I don't have
that
to
is really good.
fly out, stay for a week in my old house.
Yeah, that's bad too.
Ugh.
Pete Holmes told me this recently. And he goes, "This is the way to make it more fun." He's like, "You gotta get a hotel, rent a car, because you're an adult.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be staying with your parents. You're supposed to be having a family at this age, and so you obviously be at a hotel. But just because you chose a different path, that doesn't mean you get punished.
Yeah, totally.
You get so bored at 10 o'clock. All right, we're going to sleep. All right. I guess I'll do nothing for 5 hours and then go to sleep.
My parents will still, like, they live an hour away, and they're like, oh, you should come out and stay for the weekend. I'm like, I'm not staying in your house where you guys go to bed at 9. What the fuck am I going to do that whole time? No.
That sounds horrible.
That sounds terrible.
Would you think of suicide stuff like I used to get this thing where I would I saw a truck once, some like garbage truck or something. You know, with those big outside tanks of gas that'll like and I saw that and it was had a light right next to it outside Rite Aid, and I was like, oh man, if that just blew up,
I would be dead.
it'd be just over. It was so freeing, that thought.
I've always thought of ways to just kill.
Just
I would
die.
never act out on them, but I've always been like, especially if I'm driving in the mountains, you know, and like on really sharp turns where there's just like cliffs. I'm just like, fuck, man, I could just crank my wheel to the right and I would just plummet like 200 feet.
I think of that all the time. And I told my doctor that because he's like, you feeling better? I was like, I'm feeling totally like 100% better. Like I feel fine. I finally got some stuff that worked.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you think about suicide anymore? I goes, I don't think about doing it. I mean, I think about ways I could do
Sure,
it, though.
yeah.
Constantly. He goes, well, then maybe you're not 100%.
I think
Let's
that's normal.
Let's stay on stuff for a little while.
I honestly think that's normal.
To think of, I could do this.
Like, to think of, like, oh, I could do this, but I would never jump off a building.
Yeah.
That seems horrible. Like, because you've got a good couple seconds to think about, like, oops, or like, oh, this is going to fucking hurt. Did you see The Bridge? It's a movie about, it was a documentary about people who've committed suicide by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah. Duncan Trussell used to have a joke about that.
And there's one guy that they interview, like one survivor. Like he's the only guy that's like lived from jumping off that bridge. And in his interview, he says the second his foot left that bridge, he regretted it.
Oh no!
Like the second he jumped, he was like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
And that alone made me be like, "Well, I can never."
It's
jump.
such a final decision. You can't be like, let me try suicide for a little while.
That you then have to actually live with for a few seconds. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die right now.
Hanging would be like that. We're like, no, get me off this.
Hanging, drowning, nothing that would take more than
I was romantically drawn to the idea of hanging. I was like, that's kind of cool and old style, but it would fucking be.
Because I feel just for some reason in my head, I feel like it would take too long, even though it's fairly instant.
Yeah.
Like even a split second for me is too long.
Have you seen those videos of like the Iraqis getting hung or the insurgents, whatever, and they have a crane because modern times.
Yeah.
And they have them all attached to it by the nooses, and the crane lifts up.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Yeah, and they all start kicking out. One person tries not to move at all, and so he stays for a while, not moving, not cracking his neck. And then it's like you could tell it's like I can't breathe, and then he starts struggling. It's horrifying.
Oh my god, that no, could never do that.
Yeah,
it would have to. I think it would have to be a gun.
Gun to the head.
Use a gun. Yeah,
straight through the brain.
Yeah.
I used to always get intrigued by it. Somebody told me about their son who had committed suicide. He was a doctor.
Yeah,
and he just he graduated medical school. That was his dream, and it was everything seemed great, but he still did it. And I was like, all I wanted to know was like, but how did he do it?
Yeah,
like, what did he use? And she was like, pills. I'm like, pills. Ooh, that's a good one.
The more I think about it and the more I talk about it, the
just go to sleep.
The more I'm like, I could never kill myself. Like, I don't think
you couldn't do it.
Maybe if someone said you have cancer and you're definitely dying and like,
what if you lost your legs?
I could probably still
keep going
with that.
How about went blind?
Blind, I could live with.
Really?
Yeah.
You could live with blind?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a big one for me. I could live with deaf.
Deaf?
I could go deaf.
Yeah.
I could definitely go mute. If I could find a way to make a living, I would not mind not talking to anybody.
Have you ever, because, you live alone, like, I live alone, like, I've had times where I haven't left my apartment in, like, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And then I find myself on like the third or fourth day going, oh my God, I have not spoken out loud in days.
Yeah.
I've basically been mute for 4 days.
Yeah.
I haven't talked.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
Maybe like 3 words going like, thanks to the pizza guy.
Yeah, every now and then though, I talk to myself
To make sure that you don't go insane.
Like when I wake up and I'm sitting up in the morning, I'm like, oh fuck. Like it's usually just cursing, like God damn it, like walking into the kitchen, opening the fridge, seeing nothing there, and just being like, God damn it.
Oh, that's good.
And then I remember when
I think that's good to do, to talk out loud. I do the same shit where it's like you don't say a word.
I remember when I was
There's
like
no reason to.
when I was like 11. I saw my dad out in the backyard, like doing yard work.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him, and he was talking to himself.
Yeah.
And like it made me so sad because I was like, I was just a little kid. I was like, oh my God, my dad is going crazy.
He's so lonely.
It really scared me because I was like, fuck, my dad is going crazy. And it, like, for days I couldn't sleep. And like now that I am his age,
Yeah.
that he was then, like, and I talk to myself, I'm like, oh, he wasn't going crazy. He was just a fucking miserable person. You know, he was just like, he was doing the same shit I do. Like, God damn this fucking yard.
I used to do that more, and I'll do that actually when I'm mad about something. Or I do that in high school where I talked to my friend Karen about that in high school, where it's like you'd be in the bathroom and be like, I got the last tissue paper in the bathroom. You just start singing some
When I'm
stupid song.
taking a shit on the toilet, like as soon as like I start shit, I'm, here comes the shit. Here we go. As I'm squeezing, I'm like, get out of my asshole.
Get out of my ass. Get into the bowl.
That's so psychotic.
Yeah.
Bro.
And then somebody catches it, you're like, oh, you get super embarrassed. You're like, yeah, I'm a Looney Tunes.
Yeah, like I have really thin walls, and like I'm like, I know that there's had to have been a time someone has been outside my apartment and heard me just going, get out of my asshole. What the fuck is going on in there? What is that guy about?
Yeah. I get super depressed when I do that too, by the way. When I stay inside like 3 or 4 days, then I'm
Yeah.
like, I have got to get over to the Comedy Store, see a person.
Yeah, just to
Something.
go watch a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too. I live really close to UCB, so every now and then I just walk down there.
Just go.
And everyone's like, oh, you going up tonight? I'm like, no.
No.
I just was going insane,
Good.
so I had to leave my
Head
house.
in the hole, you know, just waiting for something horrible to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I do? What's it called? It's like what you're talking about? Just scenarios in my head. Is
Oh,
when
yeah.
whenever I'm in New York, I'm on the subway. If I get out, because everything I knew about the subway was from TV and movies,
Yeah.
and it was just crime, just horrible crime everywhere.
Yeah.
That's where it was all committed. Someone on this, you know. So I would always imagine one that I'm gonna get like mugged or killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
I do
two,
that.
and this bothers me a little bit, but if I'm leaving and there's a woman leaving and it's like 10:30, 11 at night, so
She
nobody else
thinks
is
I'm
there.
going to kill her. Or
Yeah.
I could kill her.
Yeah, she thinks
Yeah.
I'm going to. And how am I going to do it when
Oh.
push comes to shove?
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Do you ever do this? Like, I'm so fucking paranoid and don't want people to hate me. Or, like, if I'm driving in my car
Yeah.
and I'm driving past a school or a playground,
Yeah.
like where there's kids playing, I won't look over there because I don't want people to be like, check out the guy in the truck. He's fucking staring at those kids. What a fucking like, I'm like afraid to fucking look at playgrounds right now.
I do that with women sometimes. I know what you mean, though, of like, I'm not a child molester. I do it with women when I pass them on Sunset,
Yeah.
and they're super hot or wearing a miniskirt. I'm like, I'm not averting my eyes or head in any way.
Because you'll see the guys in the car in front of you, like totally staring. You're like, I'm
Nope,
better than that.
not participating
I'm
on
better
this.
than that.
Uh-huh.
But you want to look.
I don't want so bad. It's so close to me. I can see their nice legs.
Yeah, there's so much shit on TV with like To Catch a Predator now and everything that I'm like, I can't even look at a playground going, oh, look at those kids having fun. Like,
That
I
looks
can't
so
look
nice.
I can't look.
Yeah, you can't. You can't just watch a soccer practice.
Yeah, you're a fucking creepy middle-aged guy if you do that shit now. Yeah, I can't. It's so. I do the scenarios.
You find yourself become like your dad like that?
Yeah.
where you just start talking and then like, yeah, any scenario where you're like, I know this is evil, but I could totally do this right now.
Oh, do you ever do? This is something I always feel horrible about, and I hope other people do it. It's like, I'll think of like my friends dying and like what I would say at their funeral.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Like,
a couple of them.
Like I can imagine some of my friends.
a memorial at the Comedy Store. They have memorials for everyone that.
Yeah.
You know? So if one of those guys, like, what I would have to say. Or...
I can imagine. Like a lot of it's usually when I'm driving and like a song comes on in my car, like a sad song that reminds me of a certain friend. I'll be like, oh man, and then all of a sudden in my head I'm like imagining myself at their funeral eulogizing them.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, my friend would be so creeped out if they knew I was basically.
Do you actually get like choked up a little bit sometimes?
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
You imagine it really happening, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can imagine how sad I would be if my friends died.
And I start like, oh my god, like I really get into it, and I lose myself in
I could tear up. Yeah. I fucking and then those are the times when I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I'm imagining my friends dying right now.
So that's the reason, by the way, that you can imagine that I can, when people say, like, oh, you don't know what it's like until you're there. I'm like, no, I can put myself in the place and make an honest
what it's
decision.
like. I've eulogized a lot of my friends at their fake funerals in my head. I know exactly what it's like.
I was moving as fuck, yo.
You don't know what it's like to lose your best friend. Yeah, I've done it like once a year in my head. Like, I know what it's like.
Way more than you.
Yes. Oh, God. It is so embarrassing.
I found out that whenever I thought about suicide too, I finally realized like I'm too much of a coward. Like I just wouldn't have the guts. That was the main thing stopping me.
I have this weird thing with death where like I'm not afraid of being dead.
Yeah.
I am afraid of dying.
Of going into death?
I'm afraid of that moment where you pass. Like, that terrifies me. Like, I did, Duncan and Natasha would do that show at the cemetery.
Uh-huh.
And I remember the first time I went there, I was like, man, it's kind of creepy being here. And someone
Really?
was like, oh, you're afraid of dying, of being dead. And I'm like, no, I'm fine with dying. Like, I'm accepted that it's going to happen to all of us. I am literally afraid of the moments going into being done. Like, does it hurt? Is it terrifying? Like,
You don't want to know.
I don't. Yeah, that really scares me.
It probably hurts like fuck, like really bad.
Like feeling your last breath go out of your body. Like,
I would hate to get beaten to death. And you know how you're lying there like how much pain is that?
Oh, yeah, I know. Like, what is that like?
People stay sort of calm, but it's like it must be like so beyond like ow,
or bleeding to death, like getting stabbed. And you're like, oh my god, there's so much blood coming
so much
out
blood out of me,
and it hurts. I'm gonna die. Oh, that is terrifying to me. And I know, I mean, people who have, there are people who get cancer, and when they die, they're not even aware of it. And, they're unconscious a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to be unconscious when I go. I would love to die in my sleep.
Seems like the coolest way to go.
It's just being mentally alert when I die is what scares me. You know what I mean? Like,
you believe in like an afterlife?
I don't know. I don't think I do.
Yeah, you probably don't.
Like, because, I mean, to me, I just imagine all the people, like, over the thousands of years who've been like, I'm going to die and I'm going to go in, and like, we're like, well, their body is still right there in the dirt. Like,
yeah, so what
maybe, I don't know, maybe their soul or spirit is somewhere else. Like, that would be wonderful, but I just don't.
You're not banking on that.
I'm trying to do everything I can now, just in case that's not a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, this might be the only chance we have to do
My friend
something.
Kurt told me this, that you know how people have that like when they almost die and they see their family and they go to this white light. He goes, no one's had a near-death experience where they go to hell. Like,
nobody.
In any culture, it's never happened.
Yeah, no one's been like, come back and been like, holy
fuck,
man, I don't want to die now. That was horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the fucking devil, and yeah, nobody does that. That's weird.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that.
It's your brain making some white thing or whatever it is.
Yeah. I did have a friend who was in a coma for a long time. Like, he was in a coma for, like, I think weeks.
Yeah.
And this was just, 5 or 6
Weeks of a coma? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
For, like, 5
Someone
or
you
6
knew?
years ago. What's that?
Someone you knew?
Yeah. Still no.
So weird.
He's fine. And he was in a coma, and he said he had like, I don't know, whatever you would call it, a vision or whatever of like all the religious icons, like Vishnu and like Jesus, like everybody, like all of them standing around him, talking to him, saying, "It's time for you to go now. We're going to take you."
Really?
And, like, he knew he was going to die, and then they're like, "But don't be afraid. You're going to go to a better place." And as they're talking to him, they stopped and then they said, "Nope.
Sorry.
Something else has just happened that we need to go to. There's a lot more people that need us right now."
Yeah.
And he came out of his coma.
Right
and
then?
It was right when the fucking tsunami hit in like the South Pacific and killed
There's a lot more people that need us right now.
a ton of people.
Whoa.
That's all that kind of gave me the chills when he told me that. That they're like, well, you know what, you're lucky now. There's been a lot of people who really need us.
Those are the things that always like, yeah, it sounds cool. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
that
and
really got any warning. It's got to be the brain.
Part of me is,
signal.
the logical part of my brain is like, well, he was in a hospital. Maybe there was a TV in the room with the news on, and it's like, just subconsciously.
And also, like, what they didn't know, all these Jesus and Vishnu didn't know there was going to be a tsunami in a second. And they was like, well, do your fucking research.
Hey, we're going to kill you now. We're going to take you.
Oh,
shit.
Oh.
What? What's that? Oh, I'm getting a call. Oh, I got to go. I got to go to fucking Thailand right
Like a cop who pulls over a speeder, and then he sees somebody else shooting. He's like, all right, fuck you. I'll just go get this. Like, wouldn't they know better than that? Why are they almost fucking up left and right?
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? I'm only afraid of the moment of death, like the actual crossing.
Wow,
like, I don't want to be laying there and have any. I don't want to be like bleeding,
having
to death
a regret,
and then being like, "Fuck, I should have done this," or like, "Fuck, I was a dick to so and so." Like,
you know, I'm just starting to realize now. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of those, and it's just like I think everybody probably will. Totally cool. You don't win most of the time. You win or lose.
No.
So a bunch of times, like, oh yeah, sorry, I fucked up. I'm gonna do it like 1,000 times.
Oops.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I had. Yeah, I should have.
Yeah.
I should have gotten the large fries that day at Carl's Jr.
Fuck.
I wanted more fries when I was out, and I could have gotten some more.
Yeah. Oh, God damn it. I really blew it.
I don't want to die with 39 cents in my account. Say I could have supersized.
I wouldn't mind dying. I'd rather die with 39 cents in my bank account than like $2 million.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, I should have
gotten more whores. Should have paid for fucking more.
I should have bought a Ferrari. Fuck. Not that I'm ever going to be able to have that much of a decision. Like, it will probably be. Oh, shit.
I lost my rewards, my cashback rewards card for Zen Dispensary once.
Oh, shit.
And I had a bunch of money saved up on there, and then I felt really bad. Like, what the fuck? I didn't use it.
The one on Santa Monica?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I go.
Yeah, and I dropped it. Probably took it in, and I think I went back to put money on my meter and probably dropped it or something. I felt so bad because I had like 3 or 4 eighths coming or something like that.
Oh, my God, dude.
And I was like, damn it. So now I'm like, just use it because you can't take it with you. You can't. you want to leave nothing in the bank.
I love stoners and people just justifying like, hey, you can't take it with you, man. I'm going to smoke this right now because I could be dead tomorrow, dude.
At least buy it so someone else can have it. Like, if I drop dead right now, I would expect you to take one of these eighths with you. I'm like, oh, it sucks, shit. But somebody's better smoke this.
Ari would have wanted me to take this spot with him.
You're already buried with it.
Yeah.
What did your friends say when you would get like panic attacks or did they just tell you it was like, done?
Nobody knew.
What did they say?
That's the other thing.
So you never lashed out? Or you never like, wow, good for you.
That was the other thing is you get to be really good at masking that shit. I would, if I was in a restaurant with friends and had a panic attack, I'd just like grab my cell phone and look at it and go, oh shit, I got to take this call. And I would just leave.
Just for that.
Yeah, and then, if I didn't go back in, I'd say, sorry, man, an emergency came up.
Yeah, I would fake having cigarettes. I would, or I'd make myself, when I smoke, just go outside and have like a pack of cigarettes in an hour because I couldn't take.
Just, the way junkies can,
Junkies are so good at details.
Yeah, there are people that like don't know family members or like really strung out on drugs because they're really good at hiding it.
Yeah.
You become the same way with, mental illness.
Any sort of addiction kind of things, any sort of brain.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend, for like 5 years who never, ever knew I had a panic attack. And I had them all the time.
Around her.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember telling my girlfriend once when I was at the bar down on La Cienega, that art bar, whatever it's called. But yeah, and when that day on the Lexapro, the second day, where I just couldn't breathe, I was just like,
yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah,
it's all closing in. And I told her later, and she was like, really?
Yeah, yeah. I told my ex-girlfriend like probably a couple years after we had broken up. I was like, oh yeah, I was having panic attacks all the time. She's like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, no. Because it's embarrassing. It's really, it's sad, but it's embarrassing. Luckily, I'm at a point now where I have no trouble talking about it. Like,
it seems like it's gotten way more easy.
Like, I almost never have them anymore because of the Lexapro, but if I do, I'm always like, excuse me, I'm really freaking out right now. I have to leave.
Yeah.
And people are usually just like, all right.
Because you come to terms with it?
Yeah.
And you've dealt with enough people that are like, oh yeah, people get this shit.
It's such a freeing feeling to just be able to be at a point where you can just openly say anything,
Yeah.
It's like, I'm really freaking out right now. I have to go.
I do that with my weed when somebody sees somebody like at Paquito Mas and something, and they're like, oh hey, I saw you at the Improv. Or I'm like, I'm actually way too high right now.
I've done that.
Really
I've run into people in the at Gelson's. Been like, hey man, what's going on? And I'm like, I cannot talk to you right now. I am high as shit.
Yeah, because like I don't want to I don't want to make a bad impression.
Yeah.
Or like, was Ari an asshole just now? Just let him know.
And then I walk out going, oh, that's fine. Like
they'll think I'm what I am.
Yeah, they're like,
a junkie.
He's a fucking stoner, man.
Yeah,
But,
like all right, that's fine. Yeah, you're right.
At least they don't feel like, oh, does he hate me?
Yeah. You got to be careful with that in L.A. People talk to you like, what's his deal? Like,
he's probably stoned as shit.
Yeah. Was he laughing intermittently?
Yeah. Was he just looking through you? What was in his shopping cart? Pringles,
pickles,
and Coke.
Pringles. You gotta look for the signs.
I go to Gelson's so often at like, it closes at midnight, the one by UCB, so I'm always there at like 11:45, and like it's always like I go up to the counter and it's like, oh, look at the fucking Pringles, the microwave pizzas, the microwave burritos.
My sad
it's
life.
So obvious, like, oh boy. And I'm like,
they should do a photography book about that, just taking pictures of people's checkout lines.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Wonder how they would get that.
That's a really good idea.
Hey, if anyone has any artistic sense or drive, go ahead and get that started.
That sounds like a great idea, but also a lot of work.
I will never do it.
Pass on that. My blessings to whoever wants to do it.
Well, free copy of the book would be great, and then we're even.
Yeah, a thanks. Special thanks. Acknowledgement.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a special thanks?
In Sarah's book.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, did you?
I think that's the only.
That's cool.
That's the only time, though.
I got one of the E! True Hollywood Story of the Comedy Store.
Really?
Because I was working in the video room, so I was responsible for finding them a lot of the
that's awesome.
footage. Yeah, I was like, all right. That was my first credit in Hollywood.
Isn't it weird? It's so satisfying because you're like, well, if I die, my name is somewhere. Like, I'm leaving. That's a weird thing, especially, I think, for entertainers, is like this need to just leave something behind.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what. Like,
I have no interest in that.
You don't?
I'm like, we're gone. When we're gone, we're gone. That idea of like, this will help me live forever. No, it won't.
Yeah.
They'll remember nothing. They'll remember you, but you're nothing. So they'll remember nothing.
Yeah. I want that, though. I want to be like...
Really?
Like,
you want a star on the Walk of Fame?
No, but like... I would love for my name to just pop up every now and then. People are like, oh, yeah. It's like, not my own show or anything, but, I mean, that would be great. But, like, just, like, a special thing. Like you said in a video, like, oh, yeah, fucking Ari.
You could do something horrible, too. So when anyone does something towards that scale of horrible, they'll be like, much like Steve Agee.
Remember when Ari killed 1,000 people?
Yeah.
Dropped ricin into the fucking football stadium. Killed everybody. That was fucked up.
Yeah. If you ever get cancer, that's the way you should do it. Like, damn, I did nothing. Well, gonna have to create huge amounts of pain.
Have you ever thought of like how, like, if you had cancer and knew you were going to die, like, and decided to kill it? Because I was like, I knew if I had like 3 months to live, I would probably kill myself. Like, have you ever thought of like how you would do it? Like,
oh, yeah. I remember somebody asking me once, like, when they were worried when I told my friend Chandra was like, you sure talk a lot about suicide. Maybe you should mention it to a therapist.
Yeah.
So I mentioned it. I was like, oh, and by the way, my friend said I should tell you. I think of killing myself sometimes. She's like, that's interesting. How often? I'm like, I don't know, every couple days or something.
Yeah.
Normal amounts.
Normal.
But she was like, do you have a gun at home? And I was like, no, but there's way more ways I can do it, if that's what you mean. Like, I live right next, like, near the Comedy Store, right next to the Hyatt. Like,
yeah, I'm semi-intelligent. I could figure out a way to end it if I needed to in a pinch.
Buses pass by all the time.
I've always been convinced that I would go to Joshua Tree and just hike out in the middle of the desert
that would be the worst.
and shoot myself.
I would shoot yourself. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say just walk out so you can't find your way back.
I would never. I would never kill myself in a way that I would suffer.
A UFC fighter died that way.
Oh yeah.
He was motorcycling out somewhere in the desert like that, and then he ran out of gas and he couldn't get a cell phone signal and just died.
I went out to Joshua Tree a couple months ago, and it was while we were having that really bad heat wave, and it was like 110 degrees. And the weekend I went out there, this couple died out in Joshua Tree.
Really?
They were out hiking, and they were from like Amsterdam too. They weren't even like from America. They were just out sightseeing.
Oh no!
They were hiking, really hot, and like they found their bodies like separated. So like one of them like
go that way,
or one of them like probably passed out, and the other one like went to like just I got to get help, and then didn't make it. It's like they didn't even like die together. It's just like vacation just from hell.
Remember the end of Lost where that Asian dude was like, no, I'll die with you.
Yeah.
Or did she say I'll die with you?
It was her, yeah.
He was trapped?
Yeah. No.
She was trapped, and he's like, no, I'm not
going to leave you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so stupid, though, because you just killed yourself for the moment.
Yeah, that's one instance.
You can leave her because you're not helping her anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, she may think you're a dick for, like, the remaining 30 seconds of her life.
She's like, you should go. And then he's like, okay. She's like, part of her will be like, oh, you really going?
Holy shit.
Yeah,
he did it
good,
again.
But
he left me again. That fucker.
Wasn't she going to leave him, though? I thought she was going to leave him when Lost Island started.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
She was like having
all
an
he
affair.
does is forgive.
What an idiot.
Fucking son.
Oh, they were all dead
Jen,
anyway.
whatever her name was, yeah. They're all dead the whole time
it doesn't
anyway.
matter. They were already dead.
Whenever my friends start watching that now, they're like, I'm about to start watching Lost. I'm like, don't bother, because the ending was so stupid that you're getting yourself hyped for nothing. So just don't even bother getting into it.
So bummed.
We're all robbed of 7 years.
So bummed by that.
The whole last year, that thing was supposed to be nothing, just not even connected.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, you lied.
Thanks, Lost.
What was I going to say to you? I forgot what else I was going to ask you. Have you ever had anybody else that you've like seen experience shit and be like, dude, get some fucking pills?
Yeah, I've had a lot of friends who've like been dealing with panic attacks.
Panic is actually new to me. Anxiety, that's like I'm only seeing that now, like more recently in my friends.
I think that's normal for it to happen
as you
get older.
That's another thing people want to do. It's like they're like, well, I didn't used to have trouble coping with this, so I don't want to say that I have trouble now. And it's like, why? Your body gets older, your balls drop. Like you're not the same.
Yeah, it's part of the fucking natural progression of life, I guess. Yeah, I've had most of the people I know have panic attacks, and
that's so weird. I know if you're driving when you have that, do you have to pull over? Or can you keep going?
I usually pull over. But it's usually not when I'm driving. It's usually
when you're around people.
In an environment where...
I would get minor ones. Anytime I have to go to a club in Vegas, something. My friend's like, we're all going to the club. It's like, okay.
Oh boy. Yeah, my shrink. I think we determined that like my biggest problem is that I want to please everybody. You know what I mean? Like and it goes way back to being a child, and you know, my brother was kind of difficult for my parents.
Yeah.
My older brother, and then my younger sister was difficult. So I was like the middle child who like didn't want my parents to like be bummed out that all their kids were kind of fucking up, even though I eventually was a fuck up. So like I was always trying to make my parents happy, and it's just always kind of carried on to like also wanting to just be in control. Like I wanted to control, you know, what was happening in the family. Like you know, like when my parents would get upset with my brother or my sister, I was just like, I got to make things right. You know, I gotta be the good kid. And the same thing came with panic attacks. Like I had like a really bad panic attack once in college when I was flying. Like and it happened on the plane from Burbank. It was from Sacramento to Burbank, just like a half-hour flight. And like as soon as the plane took off, I had a panic attack, like really bad. Like, and I had to be in the bathroom of the plane the whole flight, like just putting water on my face, and
sweating and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it was terrifying.
I got one of those on a weed cookie.
Oh, it's the worst when you're flying. Panic attacks are the worst when you're flying.
Were you close? I got it before we took off, and I was close. Like really, if I wasn't sitting next to my friend, I was really gonna go like, get me off the plane, get me off. I gotta get off. Open the door and let me off.
I've done it. Not while I've like.
Where it's like we haven't left yet. The door's closed, but I'm like, you can get me off this plane still.
I've been in the terminal when I've been like,
no,
fuck it, nope, I'm not going to get on this plane.
Wow. You should do that. That's such a foreign thought to me of like, then what are you going to do? It's like, we'll figure it out later.
But my shrink was like, my panic attacks have always almost probably 99% of the time been from like me feeling out of control, like in an environment, like if I'm on a plane, I don't have control of what's happening in the plane. You know, if I'm in a movie theater, you know, it's just fucking crazy. It's a control freak thing.
Because you want to, you want to make sure you can deal with it.
And like I feel out of control. Like when you're having a panic attack, it's like a full-on loss of control, which just builds on itself. Like, oh shit, I'm out of control. So then the panic attack just gets worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why when I think of having kids, it hyperventilates me. Or when I think of like 4 or 5 people holding me down, and then doing something to me, either beating me up or like raping me in prison, or fucking something horrible, like snapping my legs, where it's like you can't move or even to fight back. You're like,
yeah.
You have to see it.
It's so funny because my panic attacks are usually like if I'm with somebody, like if I'm in a restaurant, it usually starts with me feeling really warm.
Yeah.
And then I'll say to somebody, "Is it hot in here to you?" And as soon as somebody else says no,
then you know.
Or actually, no. In fact, it's kind of cold. Like I immediately it flips the switch, and I'm like, okay, I'm having a panic attack, and then it just escalates.
Wow.
Like whereas if I said, "Is it hot in here?" and someone said, "Yeah, it's a little warm,"
then you're like,
most likely I would just ride it out. It would just go back down.
It's like not watching a little kid when they fall because that'll make them cry. If you look at them.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow, that's so weird. The brain is so fucking weird.
It's fucking crazy. The fucking brain is insane. Shit that it's capable of.
Yeah.
And it's just this blob that sits in your head. Like
for just sitting there doing nothing. I had to take this one pill I loved, gave me the side effect of hyperphagia, mirtazapine. Hyperphagia means you can eat endlessly and never feel full.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I could not feel like, you know, when you eat like a bunch of pasta, you're like, ugh, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't get that feeling ever of being satiated. So I would eat honestly, it's like 3 hours sometimes.
Would it ever make you like throw up? Like,
no.
Oh, I just ate way too much.
No. I would feel gross. And my doctor was like, you're going to gain probably like, I think 10 to 15% of your body weight. Like extra, and then it'll top off. But I was thin at the time, so I was like, I guess I can handle it. If it'll make me stop feeling bad, I can handle that.
Wow.
But it was kind of awesome because mostly that and weed, it would give me these cravings, and I would just, well, let's go for it.
I can't imagine smoking pot and then just being able to eat.
And whatever's
without
left in the
never
house.
feeling full. Finishing
it was-
a whole pizza.
I made an everything bagel with peanut butter, hard salami, and multigrain Cheerios. And it was
Holy
so fucking good.
shit. I have no problem eating way too much. I really need to.
Yeah, I'm remembering those times. They were so fun. I wanted to get into like an eating contest and try to do like an all-you-can-eat steak. If you eat the steak, you get it free.
Oh, yeah. Eat this whole 32-ounce steak and your meal's free.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
I wanted to one time. I go with my friends. I go to Fogo de Chao bunch with Diaz and Rogan. They like to go there, and for whatever reason, it's the only place I can out eat those guys. I just like straight meat, and they always sort of comment on it like Jesus. And I'm not trying to like eat a bunch. It's just like I can just keep putting it down.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it while I was on that, so they were like, "Oh my God, man!
What
the
fuck
F?
happened to you?
There's a pile of just fat and bone left."
Ugh. This actually sounds amazingly delicious.
Yeah, it does. All right. Well, is there anything you want to tell people about fucking mental illness? It's not that big a deal. That's what I would
that's the
say.
thing, and
It's not that uncool.
And it sounds cliche, like saying you're not alone.
Yeah.
But it's really true. Like, you know, like one of the most freeing moments for me mentally was just being able to say, I have panic attacks, I have depression. And then no one's ever like, what?
Yeah.
It's always like, oh yeah, me too. Or, oh yeah, my brother has it. It's like, it's so fucking common.
Yeah, but nobody like talks about it, so it becomes this thing of like, I'm not crazy, and it's like, no, you're not crazy. It's just like whatever.
And nothing feels better than talking about it, whether it's with a friend or like a shrink. Like the first time I went to a shrink, I was so fucking nervous and also like pissed off. Like, I can't believe it's come down
to this.
To me going to, because I was dating this girl and she was like, you're driving me crazy. You're a miserable person. I was like, what? She's like, you need to see somebody. And I was like, fine. And so I went to the shrink and I was like, ugh, this is going to be lame. And I sat down and I was waiting, and then she came in and she sat down and was almost immediately was like, so tell me about, you know, your family. Where'd you grow up? As soon as I started talking, I was like, oh God, I went there. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is happening? Like, I just unloaded for an hour, and like I walked out of there feeling so good and like addicted. I was like, I wish I could come back tomorrow.
Carboni got me to see one. He was like, trust me, man, it's not that bad. And then you go, and all it is you get to have a conversation for an hour just about yourself.
Yeah, you get to have a conversation where you're not on, or you're not goofing around with a friend.
It's just like, I had a girlfriend in college who used to go up to the patio roof and just talk things out loud. You know, well, I got to take this class and that class. It'd probably be better. All right, yeah. If I'll take that class now because I don't know if I can get to that class next semester. Yeah, I'll take this class. And that would just help her. That's all it is. You're just talking shit out.
It's like, you know, if you've ever, like when you first meet a girl and you start dating and you, like, just hang out in your apartment just talking, like, oh, yeah, me too, and blah, blah, blah. And just, like, and afterwards you're like, oh, my God, I love this chick. Like, we just talk. And that's how therapy is. You're just like, oh, my God, I just go in to see this person. We just talk, and it's awesome.
Yeah. It's weird. They sort of get to know you. You ever get in a fight with your therapist?
What's that?
You ever get in a fight with your therapist? I know a lot of people have done that.
No.
That have like they've done something to displease them, or I don't know. They have their therapist almost as like their like mentor.
Yeah. No, I haven't ever done that. Like I love my shrink. Yeah, but I mean people, anyone who would be listening to this who's just like there was a time where I was like, I honestly felt like I was insane, like nobody else knew what I was going through.
Yeah.
Chances are, if you feel that way, there are thousands of people that
no
know
matter what it
through.
is.
There are thousands of people who know exactly what you're going through.
In fourth grade, I went to my mom's room and I was like, Mom, nobody likes me. And she goes, I know, that's what just a lot of boys around your age think. And she goes, no, you don't understand. Literally, it's like nobody likes me. And she goes, I know, Ari, but it's really, you don't understand. They do, and it's just something you're thinking.
Yeah.
And she was so right. What do you mean? I had like 20 friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing you do is really unique. The way you think, people are going through it all the time.
It's been, I mean...
It ain't that bad.
Panic attacks, depression have been around since people have been around.
Yeah.
It's totally normal. You know, and there's so many ways to deal with it. You know, whether it's, you know, antidepressants. A lot of people don't believe in them.
They'd rather not put you on antidepressants, too.
Yeah.
I think some side effects, so they're like,
still
let's
think
not even chance it.
they're overprescribed, especially with kids. Like,
Yeah.
that really freaks me out when they give them to kids. But like,
I got Ritalin for a while.
yeah.
And that really zombied me out.
Like, you just got to do something, whether, you know, and if you don't want to take something, then like, exercise, fucking eat better, because a lot of times
Exercise helps a lot.
fucking exercise helps a ton.
It's hard to do it when you can't even get out of bed. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't even get from my bedroom to the kitchen to get something out of my fridge. I would just lie there for like 5 hours after I woke up.
Yeah,
The idea of like, go for a jog is like, you're out of your mind. That's never going to
I
happen.
can't jog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of getting a jar to piss in so I don't have to get up and go all the way to the bathroom.
I've been there, but that was a whole different. That was, you know, vertigo, which I've suffered from too.
Really? Vertigo?
Off and on, yeah.
Do you just get dizzy and fall?
Yeah, like, and it's, you know, yeah, I've had vertigo since college as well, and that's just like one of those
Jesus,
things.
man.
You have an inner ear issue, and you know, you got to live with it. Usually, it only lasts for, you know, a few hours where the room is actually spinning, and
then it comes on sometimes? You take pills for that?
no, nothing's worked. You know, it works for me. Weed,
God. Really?
yeah, it helps with the nausea.
I'm always amazed when it actually does something medicinal. I'm always like, oh, yeah,
I have a
that's right.
legitimate reason for having my pot card, and it's that like I get vertigo so bad that like it makes me nauseous, and the only thing that helps is pot. Like, I understand them prescribing it to cancer patients because it helps the nausea so fucking much.
I feel like whenever I'm at one of the dispensaries and somebody comes in like in a wheelchair or like clearly suffering of something, like their head shaved,
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, you go ahead.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We're using you.
You actually
Yeah.
need this.
Yeah, doesn't we all feel like the frauds that we are?
I don't need this.
I just really love it though.
But yeah, there was a point when my vertigo was so bad that I would just keep a bottle by the bed because it was impossible to walk down the hallway to get.
So you could only just lean over and piss?
just roll over onto my side
Wow.
and piss into it like a
That
Gatorade
sounds
bottle.
horrible.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, I think that's, for me, I think it's dietary. Like, I think it's
If you eat well, you'll feel better?
yeah, I think it's the vertigo for me is sinus related and like to food allergy, like dairy especially. I notice it more when like if I've been eating a lot of pizza and like cereal with milk, like I notice I feel stuffier. Like I feel stuffy right now.
There's almost no reason to ever eat cheese.
No,
It's like
other than it's fucking amazing.
so good. But like what? It gives you nothing, right?
Nothing. You don't
It's
need it.
all only bad.
Don't need it. Same with milk.
It's not like we don't get enough bad shit.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Last summer, I ate vegan for about 4 months.
Really? Wow. That's a long time.
Never felt better in my
Really?
entire life. I lost like 40 pounds. Wow. Never.
Why? Just because food wasn't available?
No, I was riding with a friend. We were working on a script like every day, and she had a lot of food allergies, like gluten.
Yeah.
And so she was basically eating vegan because of her food allergies, not out of principle.
Right.
And so when we would order food, I would basically just order what she ordered because it was easier.
Sure.
And so I was eating vegan for like 3 or 4 months, and just weight was just pouring off of me, and I felt fucking incredible. Like so much energy, no vertigo at all. Like I felt no sinus problems.
Really?
I felt so fucking
God, just
good.
diet?
And it was so boring. And as soon as we finished,
boring, yeah.
As soon as we finished and she left to go back to Canada, I was like, I just want ribs. I was like immediately, because part of it was also guilt. I felt horrible eating like shit around her.
Yeah. I feel bad when I date a vegetarian. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, I'm not going to eat meat in front of
And
you.
whenever they're not there, you're just like pizza,
Kill it.
hamburgers.
Yeah.
And so as soon as she left, like I immediately was like, vegetables are so, I love them, but they're so fucking boring. You
Yeah.
know?
You can't really do them that well. But people are like, sometimes they're really great, but not really ever.
Oh, I know this place where they make vegan food that's really good. It's like, no, you don't. Not
No one
good
that's
to me.
close or something. I had a friend who broke up with somebody, and then she developed IBS and stuff, and couldn't eat gluten and stuff like that. And it was became from a mental problem. Her body just started changing, and then as she like got over the guy, she got back to normal and she could eat everything again. It's really fucking weird.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean every now and then I go through a phase of like, I'm gonna start eating vegan again. Like not out of principle or anything, but like I felt so good.
Yeah.
And like I'll go to the store, buy a bunch of vegetables and shit, and then they'll just go rotten in my refrigerator.
That's a problem. When my mom shopped for like even milk, it's like, yeah, there's 5 of us that you're shopping for, 6 of us. So it's
Yeah.
like, we'll drink it eventually.
Yeah.
I'm like, I might not eat cereal for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And then what am I going to do with it? Yeah, vegetables, I'm like, those are going to go bad.
I find if I'm gonna eat food that I make myself, the only way for me to do it is to go to the store every day, like and just buy the shit for that day.
Yeah. But
Because if I
it's too
buy
annoying.
shit for a week, it's gonna go bad. Because
Yeah.
I'll give up eventually.
Do you ever do this thing when you're being a hypochondriac, not, an agoraphobe or whatever? Agoraphobe is what I meant. And but even like mildly, just being antisocial, when you open the door in your apartment, if you hear somebody coming down the hallway, do you just
Close the
slowly
door.
close the door?
Yeah.
You can't slam it because then it seems
Yeah,
really
you don't
obvious.
want them to be like, oh, someone's bummed out that I'm walking down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
just very slow and hold it almost like so it's not close, like
Yeah.
touching. Yeah, I'll do that.
Or I'll look through the curtains to make sure they've walked
They've
past.
gone.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm a fucking nut job.
I feel like that all the time, and I feel like Anne Frank hiding from the Germans, just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, "Shh, don't breathe.
Or if your neighbors were interviewed, they'd be like, oh, yeah, Ari's a fucking crazy person. He, like, spies through the window. Like, he thinks we don't know that he's, like, on the other side of the door, but we know. We know. I think everybody does that, though.
Maybe, right? wonder
I
if they
do. Like, if I'm, like, I'm the same. If I'm about to leave my apartment to go, to work or an audition or something,
Yeah.
and as I'm about to open my door, I hear the girl upstairs walking down the stairs.
Yeah.
I like just stand there and wait till she's gone.
Gotta wait.
Because I don't want the awkwardness. Oh, hello, hi.
Now we gotta walk together
Yeah,
for the next flight.
I just sit and wait for them to leave.
It's just too much work.
Yeah. See,
If you were-
you talk about this shit and you're like, oh man, everybody else feels the same way.
Yeah. Probably, and no one talks about it. I want to get mad at no one telling. Like, I've had a friend that broke up with somebody, and she was saying how she ran into him because they had to work together once in a while, and she was trying to be like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I don't care at all." And I'm like, "Hey, you're totally not fine. And you know what? You're not supposed to be. When you break up with somebody, you're supposed to be hurt. It's totally cool. We've all gone through that. We stop keeping it a secret."
Yeah.
So I want to be like, just tell him, like, if he asks you how you're doing, just be like, it's still really difficult, but I'm getting there.
Fucking miserable.
Yeah.
I hate seeing you here.
Like, saying I'm totally cool, you're not winning. You're just lying to yourself. It doesn't matter.
Or like, oh, what happened? Oh, it was mutual. No,
Yeah.
it wasn't. There's always one person who's
Yeah.
like,
You're
a
not
little
weak
bit-
if it's you who got dumped. It's just,
Yeah.
it's okay.
There's always one person that's a little bit bummed out that shit happened.
Yeah. It's rarely mutual.
We're in an open relationship. No, you're not, man. You're really bummed that he's fucking someone else right now.
Sometimes it gets like that where you could tell we're like, oh, you're not cool with this. You're saying you're cool with it, but you're not cool with it.
Yeah, I've met people who had, quote unquote open relationships.
I had some.
and I'm like,
I had one.
yeah, I know that you guys say you can have sex with other people, and
Yeah.
one of you is kind of bummed out when that shit happened.
Every once in a while, it gets to be like this. It gets to be like, oh.
Yeah, like
Get over it, idiot. Get over it. And then you're like, all right. okay,
especially if
let's
the
move
other
on.
person's like kind of successful, and you're like, God damn it, why'd she fuck him? Why the
He's my better.
fuck? Fuck! I wish I was him.
Do you ever switch therapists and stuff? Do you ever just say I'm done with this one? It's not working out.
No, not to go to another one. I've had therapists where I was like, I think this has run its time and I don't need to see this person anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like I'm rehashing the same shit.
Yeah.
And I've just gone in, and that was kind of
like a boring friend that you
that
have
was
like
a
4
weird
conversations with, and you're like, back to the first conversation, and then second and third again.
And it's usually you that's sometimes a therapist will
Yeah.
be like, well, I think we've gone over everything.
Really?
And
They'll say
yeah,
that?
yeah. But usually they're like, oh, I'm getting a paycheck
Let's just
for
keep
this
this
person
going.
coming in and talking. So it's usually on you to be like, I don't think I need to come in anymore.
I had one just fucking give up. Got mad at me because I tried one pill. It was when I was fully accepted that it was like, oh, I'm in a deep depression.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fine. I was like, I just want to get better. I tried one pill. I was like, I don't want the crazy sexual side effects. If I can't fuck, like, that's a major problem in my life.
Yeah.
So I was like, we got to find one without that. Other shit I can deal with.
Yeah.
So we tried like 2 of them, and I was like, yeah, I can't. And she's like, well, you know what? I mean, we tried as many as we can. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, all right. And then I just accepted, like, this will never get better then. Like, I'm not going to fucking bother her again saying I want
It's a dysfunctional relationship
Yeah.
with a psychologist.
And then Joe Rogan paid for some, like, higher price, like, non-SAG insurance doctor.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll pay for it, man. It's not I have tons of money.
Yeah.
And I went, and he's like, oh, no, there's still plenty of other stuff we can try. Like,
Yeah.
that's not. And, yeah, then I found one that worked. I'm like, oh, I'm clearly better. I'm like, oh, I'm
It's-
glad I moved on to a new
It's
person
amazing when you find a shrink that's just like
that knows what they're doing.
gets you. Yeah.
I always thought of doctors like they're all doctors. They all know the same stuff. But it's not. Like, they're better pizza
No.
places than others.
Yeah.
There's, like, some people are better at their jobs. There's better comedians than others. Like,
Yeah. There
why
has
wouldn't
to
there
be.
there'd be worse doctors.
There's millions of doctors. There has to be shitty doctors. There has to be some who are like barely made it into the profession.
If you're like magna cum laude of your class, well, someone else finished at the bottom, but still finished.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for every valedictorian, there was someone who was the exact opposite end of the class.
And that's the person that House keeps overruling.
Yep.
Every episode. That one doctor's never right. But like,
Exactly.
I think we should let it alone.
Yeah, let's put an IV in him. No, that'll kill him, you fucking idiot.
We don't want malpractice.
I'm a doctor, though. Yeah, shit.
Yeah, as therapists the same way. Like, some of them are just shitty.
Yeah.
Or they don't match well with you. David
Yeah.
Taylor's theory, he doesn't want a female doctor because he goes, well, actually, I think this is my theory. He had a different theory. He said his theory, I think, was that girls skate by through college and grad school.
Oh, yeah.
My theory is that, David, for some reason, girls hate you. I've seen them. You talk to them for 2 minutes, and they despise you. And girl doctors aren't immune to that feeling.
Yeah.
And they want to get out of that room as soon as possible. So they're just
Yeah.
going to hurry up.
I've only ever had female shrinks.
My first couple were female, and then this male worked way better. I thought it would only work with a female because I couldn't open up in front of a man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's not hard.
No.
It's just like, whatever. Same deal.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, fucking cool.
We
Hey,
do that.
you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to edit, finally, that video of you at my first storyteller show.
Oh, shit, there's video?
Yeah, it was such a good one. And I was like,
Oh,
I'm going to edit this
awesome.
and give it to him. But,
That was fun.
yeah. You don't have any ghost stories or fright stories, do you? Or do you?
Are you doing a Halloween one?
Yeah. Or a Halloween story, something crazy that happened on Halloween?
Off the top of my head, no, but
I'll think about it for like,
seems like I would.
tonight.
Ghosts.
If you have one. Bronger has like a full-on ghost story.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, yeah, so he's doing it.
I love hearing that shit.
Yeah. Yours was really good. Your fucking acid story. It was so good.
It's the worst.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit that. I'll put it up for you.
Oh,
It was
cool,
good.
man. Yeah, I
it was
wanna
really
see
good. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, if you have, well, think about it for the next day if you have one.
All right.
Otherwise, whatever. I'm gonna get you on one of those again.
Isn't it weird that we're like in a room and we're both talking into a microphone? Like
But we're having like a
the visual,
normal-
the visual of it though is like you just have to separate it because it's really weird. Like two people just talking and then you're like, I'm holding the
I
microphone.
have this mic. Yeah. Do you want to just drop it down? Like, really
It's
far away
so
from you?
weird. And every now and then I catch, even when I'm like on stage, I'm like, I'm just talking into this weird little
Just
stick.
talking. Yeah.
It's weird.
This guy Jim Painter, this open micer that used to influence all of us, like he was our class, he was above us, he was just ahead of us, but
Yeah.
in our class. But when he would be running bits in his head in the back, his hand would go up and make a fist in front of his mouth.
Whoa.
He would hold an imaginary microphone, He didn't even know he was doing it.
That's weird.
When he ran material on us too. You know when you catch yourself like running material on your friends?
Whoa, that's
He would do that.
so weird.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a set somewhere that didn't have a mic and it's a really small room, so they're like, we don't need microphones, and you just go out on stage and you like feel so
Like, what do I do with
naked?
my hands?
Like, where do I put my fucking hands?
Yeah.
I hate it.
I can't leave the mic in the mic stand because I'm always like,
I
I've
can't
got
either.
nothing to do with these
Yep.
hands.
I can't
I
either.
keep one hand on the microphone and the other hand usually on top of the mic stand.
Yeah, me
Super
too.
cash like.
It's exactly what I do. Have you ever tried? Every now and then, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out there and see if I can just stand there without touching the mic.
Without it.
Just leave it in the stand.
Yeah.
It's so awkward.
I've become so expressive with my hands on stage because I'm like, I got to do something with it. I can't just stand with it to my side.
Yep, me too.
You ever go on the road or anything?
Not really. I mean, I've gone out and opened for Sarah a couple times, but
That must be fun. When did you guys become friends?
like 99, I think.
What were you doing?
I did a play that a friend of hers wrote,
Oh, that's cool.
and she came to the opening night.